This has been brought up before, but let's see how many people will agree with it. Recent proposals to expand the child tax credit, which is supported by President Joe Biden, um, the Democrats in Congress and Senator Mitt Romney have been viewed as a type of universal basic income, at least for families with kids. The concept of universal basic income had garnered national attention last year when the then presidential candidate Andrew Yang had proposed a monthly payment of $1,000 for each adult. The idea has attracted support from many voters and lawmakers across the political spectrum. But what makes the universal basic income different from the existing programs that we have today? And some observers think that the major difference is that a pure universal basic income would be sent to everyone, regardless of what your income is. Unlike some of the benefit programs that use a means test to ensure the payments are sent only to households with lower income. But as people point out in a recent article, the lack of a means test for universal basic income is relatively less important when the idea is considered in the context of the taxes that would be levied to finance the benefits anyway. Instead, there are three distinctions between universal basic income and many existing programs. First, it's the eligibility for universal basic income. It does not basically the eligibility for universal basic income does not depend on characteristics other than the income anyway, like age and disability status. Second, universal basic income is paid out in cash rather than in the form of healthcare or other services. And third, it may subject recipients to less shame and other barriers to access than some existing programs. The choice to adopt or reject universal basic income should depend on the benefits and costs of those three main differences. And to see why the lack of means test is not a radical departure, consider a monthly universal basic income of $1,000 funded by a tax of only 10%. Someone with zero income receives it and pays no tax while enjoying the net federal transfer of $1,000. Someone with $10,000 of monthly income receives it, and they pay the tax of $1,000 with no net transfer. Someone with $50,000 of monthly income receives it, and they pay a tax of $5,000 for a net tax of $4,000. Universal basic income is like a tax and transfer system in which those with no income receive a transfer of $1,000, which is phased out to means tested away as income rises, and there are still key differences between universal basic income and existing programs. First, the programs like Medicare and Social Security, they base the benefit payments on characteristics other than income, such as your age and disability status. A key rationale to target transfers based on these characteristics is that they are related to the ability to earn income, but are not affected by individual decisions on how much to work. Basing benefits on these characteristics enables the government to target transfers toward those with less ability to earn income while reducing their reducing the disincentive to work and earn income. Universal basic income does not use these characteristics, so it gives up this chance to target benefits without a penalty on work. And second, programs like Medicare and Medicaid, they provide benefits with the form of health insurance and other services. From one perspective, cash benefits like universal basic income are preferable over the similarly cost and kind benefits because cash will allow recipients to buy exactly what they need. But proponents of in-kind benefits also argue that individuals may not always make the best choices for themselves or their families, but paying in-kind benefits may also deter those who do not truly need Medicare, the medical care, and other services from gaming the system for benefits. And finally, some current programs are thought to create a stigma or shame for recipients, but they may also have other barriers to access, like cumbersome application procedures. Universal basic income would likely reduce all of these issues, but in one retrospect, that is a positive as removing these barriers clearly, and basically recipients better off. However, some have argued that the barriers would, like paying in kind benefits, deter those workers without genuine need for assistance from applying for programs. But universal basic income, in the context of the entire tax system, does not target the net benefits toward lower income workers. But it does not target benefits based on age or disability, and it does not provide in-kind benefits and does not add major barriers to access. Those features, especially the first two, they provide the social benefits, or they may provide it. Those features, especially the last two, may place real cost on recipients, so the decision to adopt universal basic income should depend on the balance of the benefits and costs.